Hello and welcome back to Real Horror Show. I'm your host Samantha, joined as always by the Stormy skies.
Hello, listeners.
How's it going?
It's going swell, Sam. The weather is turning. We're gonna be in daylight savings time forever. So we've saved daylight.
I hope
Did you hear about that?
I have. I've actually been super annoyed because, everybody has unanimously agreed of ending it. And suddenly there are these people coming out saying, actually, this is a bad idea because in Indiana, it'll be dark until 9 and kids will be walking to their bus stop in the dark. Yeah. And I'm sitting here as a 90s baby.
Yeah.
Like, I was already doing that at 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So they have a valid point, but they're missing the mark like conservatives always do with healthcare. Like, if the COVID vaccine's free, why isn't insulin free?
Right.
Like,
right.
You're so close to getting it, but you're missing it. Like the solution is start school later. Because
yes.
I don't think there's any reason 5-year-olds should wake up at 6 a.m. to go to school.
Yes.
Let their little bodies rest.
I know. Geez, that's like disturbing to have to get up that early if you're anybody.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But you brought this up after we finished recording the last mini show because I didn't bring it up on air. I did get engaged in February.
Yeah, congratulations, Sam.
It's just a weird thing to kind of interject into conversations.
It is.
Especially when you've been together as long as David and I have. We got engaged on our 8th anniversary.
Oh, that is amazing. I love it. I love that you did that.
So a lot of people already think we are engaged or are married.
Yeah.
Because we live together and have been together for so long.
Yes.
But no, we're not legal.
Not legal yet. And that's okay because now we're going to have the big celebration and that'll be fabulous.
And then we can get in on those sweet, sweet tax benefits.
Yes. Yeah. Very cool stuff.
I can quit my job because I can get on his insurance, even though he said I shouldn't quit my job. He's always said I can quit my job if I start making equivalent to what I'm making with the podcast or with my writing. So hashtag new goals.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a cool thing. As a woman, working is really cool, but I always entertain the idea. I'm like, it'd be cool if I could just quit my job. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I love it. So it would be so cool. I would have so much time, Sam, to do writing and the podcast more,
Yeah, so. I'm behind on the mini show where we finished the Vampire Diaries. That's why I didn't notice it was noon. I was working on that and some other work.
Okay, no problem.
Because daylight savings has fucked my body clock.
Me too. This whole week I've been so exhausted and I can't kick it.
Like, I know I need to sit down and edit this podcast, but I also need a nap because I'm essentially waking up at 5 a.m. this week.
Oh God, you're waking up at 5 a.m. See,
yeah,
that's disturbing. I don't want anyone to do that.
Because I get up at 6, but now 6 o'clock is what 5 a.m. was. And
no, you can't think that way, Sam.
I know, and that... But while I'm super excited about getting married, you know what I hope doesn't happen?
What?
I really hope that I never piss off David so much that he handcuffs me to him and then proceeds to shoot himself in the head.
Yeah. And that's a great segue into what this episode is all about, which is the plot of Till Death.
Yep. Till Death is a 2021 American action thriller film directed by S.K. Dale in his directorial debut. From a screenplay by Jason Carvey. It stars Megan Fox, Callan Mulvey, Ian Mackin, Amal Amin, and Jack Roth. Till Death was released in the United States by Screen Media Films in a limited number of theaters on July 2nd, 2021, and was simultaneously released on video on demand. The film received generally favorable reviews with highlights to Fox's performance and Dale's direction.
Yeah. Yeah, so what happened was her husband handcuffed himself to her and shot himself in the head. And Sam isn't, I didn't see the show, but you did. Is it like the 13 Reasons Why show? Like where you kill yourself, but you have a plan to like, revenge on somebody or something like that?
I would say 13 Reasons Why is a little different because Hannah Baker didn't handcuff herself to anyone. 13 Reasons Why is very controversial in the mental health field because she's trying to blame her suicide on these 13 individuals who wronged her in some way. And it kind of has that similar theme, I would say, but I don't think he killed himself because he was depressed or being bullied. True, Megan Fox was having an affair, but he killed himself as a form of revenge, and also some legal stuff going on with his law firm.
Yeah, let's definitely get into it because I have a lot of questions and stuff to talk about with this. It was cool, but like there's still a lot to talk about and unpack.
So let's break it down with acting. Megan Fox is really the main performance here, and she was fantastic.
Yes, she really was. It was really cool to see her a little bit older in a new film, because the last time I really watched her in a movie was like Jennifer's Body, and like I saw her in Transformers too, but I really haven't like been seeking out any other like Megan Fox movies.
Yeah, I think she's a really great actress. She's just pigeonholed in these roles in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers because that's how the world sees her. But when you watch her in something like Jennifer's Body or like this, or she had a long-term guest spot on New Girl where she replaced Zooey Deschanel for a season because Zooey Deschanel went and had a baby. So Megan Fox was the new girl for a little while.
Nice.
She's a really funny comedic actress.
That's awesome.
And
cool.
I just would like for her to have her. I mean, we're still waiting on Kirsten Stewart to finally be recognized for her talent.
Yeah.
But like what Robert Pattinson is doing right now, where he's redeemed himself from his trashy Twilight role.
Yeah.
It'd be great to see that happen for Megan, but I've been watching a bunch of TikToks on what is considered like trailer park hot.
Yeah. Okay,
and I don't mean this in like a classist mean way, and neither do the TikToks, but like Pamela Anderson, she's super hot, but kind of in a trailer park way. And that's not an insult. I know we use trailer park as an insult, but it's not. It's just like you could totally see this woman like coaching her daughter's cheerleader team with a cigarette in her hand.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely could.
And I think even though Megan Fox is super talented and so gorgeous, she still has that trailer park mindset where she's only good enough for someone like fucking Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh my God. They're engaged now.
I know. And
what do you think about that?
I hate it because I think she could do so much better than him.
Yeah, who is this guy?
So he started out as a white boy rapper.
He's like an artist.
Yeah, he started out as a white boy rapper, and then he tried to make a diss track on Eminem, and Eminem destroyed his career. And so Machine Gun Kelly is now doing punk pop.
Oh.
He tried to start some shit with Slipknot, but Slipknot fans tore him apart.
Oh my God.
I guess they were playing at the same festival or something, and it was like, at least I'm not some 40-year-old wearing a fucking mask.
What the fuck? Seriously?
And so Slipknot fans kind of tore into him. Yeah. And his most recent hit is Emo Girl featuring Willow Smith. And it's the dumbest song I've ever heard, but if it came out in 2007, I think I would unironically love it.
Right.
I fell in love with an emo girl.
Oh. Really? Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Oh no. They're still emo girls.
Anyway, I think Megan Fox could do a lot better with everything in her life. She just, because she wasn't, I've seen pictures of her in middle school.
Yeah.
And she was kind of an ugly duckling, so I'm sure that's part of it.
Oh, really?
Even if you like have a massive glow up, you're always going to have like that inner ugly duckling holding you back from achieving your fullest potential. But I think she could do so much better, and she was so good in this movie, and I want to see her do more good things.
Yeah. Yeah, she's fantastic. Oh yeah, I'm looking at pictures of her when she was young, and she did look a little strange, but that's okay. She had a total glow up, and you know what? It's funny that you bring that up because they nod towards it in the movie. They were like, he was like, "Oh, you get so much more beautiful as you age," and she's like, "Yeah, well, I started out really ugly."
So. And it's like, you know, it's beneficial to be an ugly duckling when you're younger because it forces you to develop a great personality. Yes. So when you do have your adult glow up, you're the full package.
Yeah, and that's why she's probably so funny, because she has this natural like sense of humor that's easy for her to execute. It's awesome.
Another great performance, I'm assuming it was him the entire time, was the guy playing her husband.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Because he was just dead the whole time and being dragged around everywhere.
Was it really him? Was it really the actor?
It had to be, because I don't think it was a dummy.
I know.
Because there was real weight when she was dragging him.
And you know what? I took note of that too, and I was like, this is legit something heavy. And I'm glad that they like did that, so she had to like struggle with that. So that, well, cool, good for him. He really like went all in. And so that was probably a directorial decision. So I can see why people probably liked that from the director if that was a directorial decision. Nice.
Yeah.
What else we got? How about the bad guy, the big bad?
He was okay. I liked his little accomplice because he seemed like a nice, innocent little kid. And this movie has inspired me to never have one of those words, the wall hook thing.
Oh yeah, like a coat hook.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah,
because if it can easily,
his little brother.
If it can easily puncture a skull like that, I'd rather not risk it.
Yeah, they should just be not like that, so you can just be careful and not accidentally get killed.
Yeah.
That was fucking shocking. Yeah, so we had them. We had the other guy who was like the other man. He wasn't around too much, though.
He wasn't, and he doesn't really stand out to me.
Yeah, he was just that character, you know.
He served his purpose, but
yeah.
He could just not be in the movie and I wouldn't notice.
Yeah, exactly. We could have had this thing that was alluded to, the affair, the whole time, just especially just with like the pictures and stuff like that and all the nods towards like being faithful. Now it would have been like equal to what we've seen with the guy.
Yeah, because he came into the movie just to die.
He did. He really did die. Like, I thought he was going to stick around and they were going to like, you know, like put their heads together and figure out a plan, but he just died immediately. And I was like, well, shit. Okay, the stakes have been risen.
And I think that's about it. It's a small cast. This is, I would say, this is just another, like Jennifer's Body, trying to prove Megan Fox is a good actress.
Yeah.
Type of film.
Yeah, definitely.
And she is. When it's just you carrying the movie, you would know right away if the acting was bad.
Yes. Yeah, because you'd right away like kind of lose interest, or like the film would like lose focus. But I didn't find myself losing interest at all because she's great to watch. This is like a survival horror movie in a little bit of a way because they're in like an isolated winter cabin.
Yeah.
So when she's by herself, she doesn't have a lot to say, but you're still like watching her actions and her struggles and her emotions on her face, things like that. And she is a very layered character. Like you can tell that she's deeply, you know, like traumatized, like from the start. And she's dealing with this asshole guy who's like her husband. It's just like, who sucks.
Oh God, he sucks.
He does.
Even before just shooting himself in the head, like he
what the
sucked.
fuck? Yeah. Yeah, poor Megan. Like she really like got like a really, I don't know, she just got the shaft throughout the whole movie because of her experience with the guy who like attacked her, and then who's the bad guy, and then her husband, who also is the bad guy because he's like a psychopath.
Yeah, I would say her husband is the worst person in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, sure, the bad guy is a criminal who attacked her in the past, but her husband is just diabolical.
Yeah, because the other guy has like his motivations. Like later we understand that whenever Megan is in the, I guess we can like talk a little more about plot now, but like Megan is, you know, she's in the house by herself, and the guys who attacked her in the past, the one guy shows up with his brother because they're being like paid to be there. So they have like motivation, but like her husband, his motivation is like being a maniac. So it's, yeah. All right, so go for it with the plot if you want to, and I'll just jump in.
All right, so the movie opens. I was questioning the quality of this movie because the opening was very much Lifetime thriller vibes for me, because Lifetime thrillers always start with like, look, we can afford a drone and film this city, or it's just B-roll footage that they bought off some creative license website.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got too.
And then we see Megan with the guy she's having an affair with. She breaks it off, and then we're at dinner with her and her husband, and an older guy proposes to his hot sugar baby.
Yeah.
And in the bathroom, Megan's like, don't do it. And the sugar baby's like, fuck off.
She's like, I was just crying, but this is great. Just like, okay.
And then her husband drives them out to their lake house, which, can we talk about the whole idea of having thousands of candles lit? While it does set a very romantic scene, it just seems very impractical to me in real life.
Yeah, it's impractical, and also it could be dangerous if you are in like a wooden cabin and everything is like super dry on the inside because of the heat that's being pumped in there, that it could be like dangerous, especially because their candles were like on the floor, and like they didn't have a candle thing. Yeah,
those candles were lit when they walked in, so that's just reckless. Like, if someone did that for me, I would be like, oh, that's so beautiful, this is so romantic. But then once everything's like done, you're finished, and you realize you need to go blow out 10,000 candles.
I know. And then the wax got everywhere because they didn't use any candle holders.
They didn't.
So I was like, oh, okay, I guess we'll just chip this off the wood there with my chipper. Wait, before you go forward, whenever they were at the restaurant, I don't know if you noticed this, but I noticed this, but they were getting each other, like, it was their anniversary dinner, and that's why they were there. And like, he got her like this necklace made of steel, and then she got him like the Super Bowl tickets, and then she's like, yeah, the Steelers are going to be in the Super Bowl, which is the Pittsburgh team. And he was like, no, the Steelers fucking suck. And I was like, haha, but like they do. They legit, we haven't won a Super Bowl for like 10 fucking years, so everyone needs to get off of their high horse being obsessed with the Steelers and Pittsburgh sports. We're not the city of champions anymore, okay? It's like cyclical. We're not going to be the city of champions forever. We're just not. So everyone needs to chill the fuck out.
This sounds very personal.
I'm glad they like said that though. He really was legit like, it was so fucking random. You could have picked any shitty team, but they picked the Steelers and to say they sucked. And I was like, you know what? You're right. They do. So
also Super Bowl tickets are so expensive. They're like, dude, what, $5,000?
What a dick, because he legit like didn't keep them. He put them in like the little foldy bill thing for the like the waitress when they left. He like, because he didn't want to watch the shitty Steelers the Super Bowl. And I'm like, wow.
You know, it is a dick move until you see him kill himself. And once you know that he's always planned to kill himself in the morning, it's kind of nice to give the waitress $5,000 tickets.
Yes, you know what? That's a good point.
So,
So
if
you're
you're
absolutely right.
planning
They're not
to
wasted.
if you're planning to
Yourself.
screw over your wife by handcuffing yourself to her and then killing yourself, do something nice for your wait staff before you do it.
Yeah, especially if you're like super loaded and you can just like buy expensive stuff. Um, yeah, what and yeah, so go ahead, we can continue. So they get to the lake house and the candles.
So the necklace he gives her, she can't take off.
Yes, we find that out a little bit later after he does shoot himself and she tries to remove it and it just won't come off.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fucking crazy. I don't know how you can make it to not come off, but I'm sure you could.
So she wakes up the next morning and he's already awake, and she's been handcuffed to him, and he's like, shit, what did he say?
He said, YOLO. I don't know what the fuck he said.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He said like a weird thing. He was like, hey, how did you sleep? And she's like, it's really cold, because he must have put all the windows open like a psychopath. And then he was like, did you dream of beautiful things? And it was very bizarre. And then he just shot himself. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? So yeah, that's what he said, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Which was like the equivalent of YOLO.
And I think Megan handles it pretty well. If my partner did that to me, I don't think I would be able to think logically for a few hours, and I probably would freeze to death. And I think that was his plan.
Yeah, she does like get really shocked and surprised, but like the one thing she doesn't do is like scream. And I probably would have screamed. She just handles it very, very well.
Yeah.
So
but then again,
it kind of shows that like,
we actually like our partners. So
that's what I was gonna say. I was just gonna say that it goes to show that she like really it wasn't loving this guy anyway. And so what happens with her reaction is just like shock that he actually did the damn thing, but not like heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, I understood that at the end. So I understood, because I feel like when some people see her reaction, they're like, well, she should have reacted and had like a bigger reaction and been more scared. But like, no, actually she played it right.
Yeah, no, I agree, because she wasn't in love with him anymore. She was probably going to leave him if he hadn't done this.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And in that situation, you really shouldn't panic. You should start figuring out how to get yourself out of it.
Yeah. So she's a good like survivalist off the bat, because she is a survivor of like an attack,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's cool. So then he kills himself. And then what?
She's forced to drag him all over the house as she tries to figure out how to contact help or get out. She manages to she finds out pretty quickly that he took her shoes.
Yeah, she has like no clothes. The whole house is cleared out of all the stuff of like, so she can't have any tools to like uncuff herself or like cut his hand off. And the phone is dead too. And Henny puts her cell phone in the water glass with the roses. So like she's like all stranded and stuff at this point.
Yeah. So she manages to drag him out to the car and get him in the car, which is impressive.
Yeah, it is. I was like, what? Oh, she really got him up there, but she like used different tactics to like, she found her wedding dress, which was the only thing that was in the closet, and she was sliding him around on that, which was clever move, very clever.
Mm-hmm. And so the car starts, but it can't drive because he also siphoned the gas out of the car. And I guess he recorded a message on a CD saying, wow, I'm proud of you for getting this far, but you're not going anywhere. Did you really think I'd be okay with you sleeping around behind my back? And okay with you leaving me?
Shit.
So I would gauge that Mark was probably somewhat abusive to her in their relationship.
Oh, definitely. He's very controlling, and we do see so many like nods towards that. in just that one interaction with them, whenever she goes to her husband's office right before they're going to go to dinner, and he's like, why aren't you wearing the red dress? And she's wearing a black dress, and she's like, well, I just wanted to change it up and do something different, which tells me that every year he demands her to wear like the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he makes her go home and change because he wants her to look a certain way. So like very weird stuff. She's never you just get these really bad vibes off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Not a good dude.
Mm-hmm. And he really did go out of his way to do that. I can't like that. That's what like is so bizarre is he just like was like, okay, well, I'm going to kill myself. So let's like clear everything out. I'm going to record myself on the CD, and like, wow, she's really going to be pissed. Haha. And I'll be dead. You know what I mean? What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. So he'd be pissed to know that she like made it through everything.
Yeah. So she takes him out of the car, and that's about the time her lover arrives to be like, hey, so Mark is getting disbarred. So what the fuck's up? And then she's like, well, he just killed himself and I'm handcuffed to him. So what the fuck is up with that?
Yeah. And he's like, oh shit, that's crazy. And she's like, call the cops, bro. And he's like, well, I don't know about that. And I don't know, it's just like this very bizarre thing. And then
how would you explain that situation to the cops?
Yeah, I can understand how like you would have to really like, how do we explain what is happening? And whenever they're having a discussion, that's when like another person drives in.
Yeah. That's when the little brother of the main baddie shows up, and he's like, hey, I'm here to fix a busted pipe. And her lover says, well, the owner's not here right now, so could you come back another time? And then the main baddie shows up and stabs her lover several times.
Yes.
And her lover proceeds to die.
Yeah.
And she does manage to get the handcuff off. I missed how she got the handcuff off.
Yeah, so she got the handcuff off because she makes her way to, since it's a lake house, they have a little boathouse that's on the frozen lake with a boat in it. And she finds some type of a sharp end of an anchor to anchor the little boat down that he forgot to clear out. So it was the one sharp object she found, and she was able to hack off his hand just enough to slide the thing off. And so that's how she got free of him.
Okay.
And that happened after they killed her lover, and they were like looking around for her, and she ran out of the house and she ran into the boathouse to hide. And that's like the first sequence of like the cat and mouse that we start to see.
Yeah. And they're convinced that she's not going to be able to escape because she doesn't have shoes, but she steals her lover's shoes, which I would have made them like a little too big. So that's another little obstacle, because they seem to fit her very well.
They were like her Converse. I was like, those look like hers. You know what I mean? They're big floppy shoes, you know?
Yeah.
So they're hard to walk in. Oh man.
But it's better than nothing out in the snow.
Yes, definitely.
But we find out that Mark also set this up because the main baddie in the movie used to stalk Emma, and before eventually trying to attack her one night, and he was just released from prison. Mm-hmm. So her husband is the one that's kind of told him to go to the house and he can have the safe. And the only two people who know the combination of the safe are him and Emma.
Yes.
So they're trying to find her.
Engagement anniversary. Yeah, they're trying to find her because they need like his thumbprint, and so they can get the thumbprint from him, but they need the date from her. Mm-hmm. And
when they finally get her to say what the anniversary date is, inside the safe is a note telling them that the diamonds are inside the steel necklace that she can't take off, meaning they have to cut off her head in order to get the diamonds.
And there's literally a saw in there that's engraved. But then when this moment happened, I started to see that the director placed little Easter eggs of like other like horror movies in this movie, because like I guess that could be like a Saw Easter egg.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, let's get her head off. But the brother is more compassionate, and he was trying to help her try to take off this necklace because she was like, I don't know how to get it off. He gave it to me and he made it so I couldn't remove it.
Yeah, and, well, he probably doesn't want his older brother going back to jail.
Yeah, and the older brother's like, I don't give a fuck.
Like they're all like each other have.
Another goddamn maniac.
And that's how the little brother ends up dying, is he's trying to keep his older brother from killing her, and he gets slammed up against the wall against one of the coat hooks, and it penetrates his skull and kills him.
Well, whenever he did die that way, did you notice that then they zoomed in on his feet being lifted up? It was like another Easter egg for Halloween. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I see what
it really reminded me of Halloween. Do you think Mark is a fan of horror movies? Because clearly he got inspired with the handcuff by Gerald's game. And
I know that. Then also, you know, the isolation in the wintry, you know, like cabin, like a cabin in the woods would be like Evil Dead, but if it's in the dead of winter, it could be like an Easter egg for The Shining and being stuck there. Like all these different things, they're all different little horror pieces, and he put them all together, but it turned out right. It worked out pretty cool. So he must be a fan.
Yeah, I agree that the little brother hanging there and the zoom in on the feet, that had to be a reference to Halloween, because that's such an iconic shot. Yeah,
just uncanny. It was right in your face. You know what I mean? Like you see it, and if you know, you know. You know what I mean? So that was cool. And okay, so he dies, and then what?
Off topic from this movie, but on topic for Halloween. Last weekend I saw Studio 666 with some friends. Which is the Foo Fighters horror movie that they released.
Oh, really?
With their new album. And it's very funny.
Oh, like, really?
It's so fucking gory and so funny. So it's like one of the best horror comedies I've seen in a long time. But John Carpenter and John Carpenter's son make an appearance in the movie because they did the score for the movie.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Google thing now, and it says music by Foo Fighters, John Carpenter, and I guess Cody Carpenter would be his son.
So that was really cool, because it does show John Carpenter in the movie working on the score. Yeah. So that was just a really nice moment as a horror fan.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And he was the only one who makes it out of there alive.
Oh, really? Nice.
But that was a fun little romp. I highly recommend it, especially if you're a fan of the Foo Fighters.
I have just this very complicated relationship with the Foo Fighters and Dave Grohl, and I really am not as big of a fan as I was back in the day. I don't know if I'll see it or not. I'm looking at pictures. Dave Grohl just looks bad.
Like I think that's fair.
Yeah. I could see it though, because it's a horror movie and this is what we do. Is it available streaming, or do you have to go see it?
Not yet, but it probably will be soon because it's no longer in theaters.
Okay, cool. Maybe we should watch it on streaming if it ever comes to a streaming network, and we could talk about that and like horror plus music, you know. Well, cool. I'm glad that it was funny. At least it wasn't bad. Wouldn't that be awful?
Yeah, no, it was a very self-aware horror movie.
Good. Well, that's good. I see that Jenny Ortega's in it, and she's like coming through as a big time horror scream queen right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Jenna Ortega. Have you gotten a chance to see Scream 5 yet?
No, I had this whole week off, and you know what, Sam? I didn't have time to do anything still. Did you hate that? So
yeah,
I will really make an effort. I'm going to try to watch it soon. With school's over at the first week of May, you know what I mean? So I'll have a lot more time. So that's like my deadline to try to watch it by start of the summer. So don't say anything, but I do know that she's in it and she's fantastic. And she'll be in that new movie X that you were interested in, that A24 thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see that this weekend, whether or not David wants to go. So.
You know what? That's something that I would love to see in theater. It looks fucking great because I love Mia Goth, and also the one girl, she's from the remake of Prom Night.
Brittnay Snow.
Yeah, I haven't seen her for a while because
she was in the Pitch Perfect movies.
Young. Yeah. You know what? I only saw the first one.
That's all you need
but
to
she
see.
wasn't that. Yeah, and she was in the remake of the Prom Night, but that was years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
But she still loves horror.
She did one independent horror movie. Okay. Would You Rather?
Oh, that's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sweet. All right, cool.
All right. So back to the plot.
Back to the plot. That guy dies by the coat hook.
Yes. So when that happens, he and Emma fight, and Emma has the brilliant idea to handcuff him to the body, so he's kind of tethered, and she makes a valiant escape effort, but he manages, because he's stronger than her, he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He manages to catch her out on the lake, and they fall through some broken ice. And this shot was absolutely beautiful. Yeah. We can talk about it more in production. The body drags him down to the bottom, and he tries to drag her down. And in a moment alluded to, foreshadowed, because this is how she saved herself before, by stabbing the keys into the guy's eye. She takes the hunting knife and stabs him in the other eye. And
now has two bad eyes.
Yeah. And he's dragged to the bottom by her husband's corpse, and she's able to get through the ice and lives.
Yes.
Probably not well after this, but she lives.
Yes, she's probably sick with pneumonia or something, and very cold, and maybe might lose one toe, but other than that, she will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I really did love that. I always get so anxious when I watch movies that incorporate like a snowy location with a frozen lake and like ice cold water. So that's always so scary to me. And I was like, oh no, I hope they don't go in the water, because then you can get stuck. So that's so the cool thing about this movie is it started off and you have this idea in your head that it's going to be about like an affair problem, but then it moves into the suicide problem. But then it like the stakes get risen higher and higher as the movie progresses, because then we have all these different conflicting elements with like, we have the affair, then the suicide, then the revenge aspect. And then we have I'm going to call it the second revenge with like the criminal aspect and like stealing diamonds and stuff like that. So all this crazy shit. And then we also have the element of like nature and how that's the antagonist, because he chose to go out here in the dead of winter. So everything was against Megan Fox in this movie, and she still like was able to prevail. So now she's a final girl.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Right? That's cool. And then also, yeah, I guess this would be like more of a production note, but whenever the movie was over, they did these really cool like illustrated stills of like different scenes in the movie.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Cool to watch, because usually it just goes to like, credits roll. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say for a directorial debut, S.K. Dale did a very good job.
Yeah, not bad. Especially when you tackle horror, you really have to make a splash if it's the first time. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job segueing into production. That final climactic scene when they're in the water, I think, is one of the prettiest shots I've seen in a movie.
Yeah.
Because it's all dark except for the spotlight where the hole in the ice is. And like, I know it's a tank shot, like it had to be. But
but they were really in the water though, which is cool.
It was so beautiful. It was so beautifully shot, and he should be proud of himself.
Yeah, he should be, because that can be really tough to do, and I'm sure you have to do that so many times to get like the look that you want. So, and
honestly, because it couldn't have been effects, because they were definitely in the water. Good on like Megan Fox and the bad guy for being able to pull that off, because I'm sure that was a very difficult stunt.
Yeah. Ice again. it was, yeah, that's crazy. And that would even make me like anxious in real life because I hate like the idea of like the water or drowning. And so that freaks me out.
Mhm.
So you really have to be like totally in the zone and level headed, but also act like you're panicking. So how do you do that when you're actually doing it? You know what I mean? It's cool stuff.
Other notes, I already brought up how
Yeah.
the opening shot didn't quite win me over right away because it did very much have a Lifetime movie vibe to it.
Yeah, the pan over the city, it just went. Do you mean the pan over the city plus like the hotel room thing too?
Yeah. I would honestly, if I was doing this movie, I probably would start it the morning she wakes up and he kills himself, just like really get it started with a bang.
Yeah.
And then if you want to, you could do kind of the flashbacks to the dinner, when she's taking the necklace off and he tells her, it's made of steel, and all of that. Just because the opening of this movie felt a little slow and a little lifetimey for my taste.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can agree with that. But it does pick up the pace once they get to like their secluded location and stuff. Any other thoughts? I don't think I had any other passing thoughts other than that Steelers rant that I went on earlier.
I don't think I do. I think it's a small cast, a directorial debut, a very ambitious one, if you ask me. So I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah, I liked it a lot. So what I guess a couple realistic aspects would be well, having a trauma with being attacked by a man who was a stranger, having him like be imprisoned by your husband but then released on bail.
Yeah, that would be traumatizing. I guess falling out of love with your husband and realizing the kind of person he is.
Yeah, that he just like sucks.
Yeah. They fell in love because he was her lawyer, right? Or were they married before?
I guess so. Yeah, they probably spent a lot of time. I think that they probably got married after they met, after she was attacked, because her attacker was discussing that he'd been to jail for 10 years, but they've only been married for 8 years. So they were probably dating for like, 2 years, and then they got married.
So there's probably like the realization that maybe you married your husband out of a trauma bond.
Right.
And you don't really love him the way you used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So like that like shared trauma almost. So they have that, but then the realization that like he kind of is not a good guy too. Also the other realistic element of like seclusion and maybe also just like being stuck somewhere, and the snow is like dangerous, the winter, stuff like that, and you have like nothing and no resources. Not that that would really realistically happen, but that element of nature can be kind of anxiety inducing in a way.
Yeah.
What else? Probably like nothing else really.
Falling through the ice in a lake. I think that's pretty scary. It happens, and if that happens, you're pretty much fucked because it's hard to see where the hole is when you're under the ice sheet.
Yes. Yeah, that's very scary because I don't even, like that's like a personal fear of mine. I think it would be like drowning, but especially in freezing cold ice water under a sheet of ice. Yeah. And you know how people ice skate on their little lake, but like you got to be careful, because that could really happen with the thin ice. And then if you're in a relationship and you find out your spouse is having an affair, but then you like don't say anything, but the whole time, it's like, I guess that could be a realistic aspect too. I think that's kind of it. Everything else is just situational. Yeah. So Am I missing anything with realistic aspects at all?
None that I can think of. I think we covered it.
Yeah, I think so too. So what would your grade be then, Sam?
I would say, oh yeah, this fucked me up. I think it's a good movie if you're able to make it past the Lifetime opening.
Yeah, and with the Lifetime opening, it's only like, it's not too long. It's like maybe a 10-minute sequence. So as long as you can like get through it or just fast forward it like Sam suggested, you're not missing anything. And it does like quicken as it goes. Mm-hmm. So the longer you watch it, the more engaged you will become. Okay, because there's a lot of little twists that you'll encounter as you watch it. So I agree. Oh yeah, that fucked me up would also be my grade.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So now what?
Guess now we wrap it up.
All right, so now we wrap it up, and that means that I have to take the time to binge watch half of the first season of the originals.
Yeah.
I have not started. Have you started that yet? I haven't
started yet.
I didn't either. Yeah. Okay. So I'll definitely start it like this week. Okay.
Cool.
But anyway, I do have the outro notes prepared. Are you ready to conclude the episode, Sam?
I'm ready.
Me too. I'm ready too. Time has flown by, so let's do this. Real Horror Show was created by Sam Odie and Stormy Skies and is directed by Sam Odie. Okay, so in this movie, what would you say the biggest takeaway was? What did we learn? What's our lesson here?
I guess just if your husband has a pair of handcuffs, keep the key hidden away. Maybe just keep a lock picking set.
Yes. Nearby the bed. That's a great idea.
I joke, but David and I have a lock picking set from when we were exploring those abandoned storage units. We bought one.
Oh, neat. That's cool.
We bought one to try and get into the locked units.
Yeah, that's really cool. Did you get it on like Amazon or something?
I think we got it on Amazon. They're kind of hard to find, but or we had a hard time finding them.
Okay.
Which makes sense because, why do you need a lock picking set? What are you up to?
I know clearly it's some type of a criminal thing that you would be doing. But anyway, if you can have that survivalist mind for just about any situation, then you'll always be prepared. So I guess that's what we learned today. Like what you hear, you can find Real Horror Show on Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play Store, Stitcher, iTunes, and Pandora. Really, really like what you hear? Follow us on Twitter @HorrorShowPod or search for Real Horror Show on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook @Real Horror Show. Like our page and share our stuff. We also have a website that all of our written reviews and podcast episodes can be found, realhorrorshow.com. Do you want to interact with us? Do you want to make sure we're real humans and not space vampires? Well, comment on our website or email us at realhorrorshowpodcast@gmail.com. Great horror movie review that you're dying to share with two random strangers from the internet. Well, submissions are open for movie reviews. Check out the submit page on our website and follow the rubric before sending us anything. If it's not done according to the rubric, it will be disregarded. Sorry, not sorry. We love horror, and if you're listening, you do too. Please help us keep our project going by visiting our support page on our website, where you can make a one-time donation via PayPal. We also have an Amazon wish list if you feel like buying us something tangible will help convey your love more than a monetary donation would. Also, you can find the Buy Us a Coffee button on our website. It's a button you can click that will pay us the amount you would need to buy a coffee. A little bit goes a long way. Sometimes we can't help out artists monetarily, and that's okay. By simply liking, sharing, retweeting, and even giving us an awesome review will help us out tremendously. And any other pertinent news other than Sam got engaged? Yeah.
I don't have anything. I guess my tickets for my world premiere play in Highland Heights, Kentucky at University of Northern Kentucky at the nation's oldest collegiate new play festival are on sale. So if you're in the area, check it out.
That is really cool.
I'm excited.
Awesome, man. All right, so go support Sam and her play, man. That's freaking awesome. I really don't have anything going on myself. Our outro song is called Creepy Doll by Jonathan Colton. Thank you, fuck off, and have a swell evening. And this is Real Horror Show signing off.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And there's a creepy doll that always follows